we're gonna talk about torque specs and torquing our machine. Okay, so I'm gonna talk specifically about the machine I've got behind me. So this is a 4052R cab unit. This is actually the same unit that I have at my own house. So I'm very familiar with the maintenance on this. A lot of talk about a 4R series tractor. This is not just a 4R series tractor problem. This is any tractor that you have. And those specs are going to be different for different tractors in our lineup. Preventative maintenance checks and services are paramount. So one of the checks that actually has bitten me in the tail once before is making sure my bolts, my lug nuts on my wheels are tight. The manual says specifically, after the first hour of use, you need to check the lug nuts on this, all right? The torque spec in the book for this is listed at 103 foot-pounds of torque. And so, when I'm actually torquing these lug nuts, what I want to do is use a star pattern. I want to make sure I'm torquing opposite in a star pattern all the way around. And so I'm going to do that now. I've got this set at 103. Perfect. So I got all my lug nuts torqued to 103. They all snapped right at 103. One technique that you can do is you can take a paint marker and now mark them, and then you'll be able to visually inspect to make sure that those torques are going to stay on there. So if that torque loosens up, that line shifts, and you can visually see it as you walk up to your tractor. The next check that it's got in my book is after 4 hours, I want to check that again to make sure it maintained. If after that 4 hours, if I check again really quick and it's maintained that torque, so it's maintained the 103 foot-pound of torque, I don't have to do that check again up until it's either annual or every 200 hours, okay? So annually or every 200 hours, whichever comes first. There is a reason it is in the book. Nobody wants to lose a wheel out in the middle of their field. Let's talk about another torque spec that's very important on our tractor. And let's talk about if our tractor is outfitted with a loader. This is a 440R loader. If I go down here, these bolts right here that have bolts and nuts on the back need to be torqued to 229 foot-pounds of torque. I will tell you that is a pretty big torque wrench. A lot of torque wrenches out there don't have that built in. So if you don't have a torque wrench that does that, make sure that you're having your crew at Papé Machinery take care of that in the service department. But making sure that those torque specs are checked. It's checked at the 10-hour interval mark. So if you've had your tractor for 10 hours, you're going to check that torque spec. And then every 50 hours after that, you're going to want to check to make sure that those are staying tight. Another tip for this, again, taking a paint marker and marking it on the frame and then marking it on the bolt, that will allow you to visually inspect it so you don't have to worry about it. You know it's not loosening up on you for a visual inspection. Let's talk about another one that's super important on this tractor, and let's talk about the cab. So there is 4 large cab bolts that hold this cab down. Your ROP system also has some torque specs on it. If you have the rollover protection system on your tractor, those are checked at 170 foot-pounds. If you've got the cab, you're going to need to make sure that those are torqued. And again, I don't memorize all of these. Those are torqued to 192 foot-pounds, and you're checking that after the first 10 hours and then annually as well as every 50 hours, okay? So obviously checking those often. And so those are located on a 4 series right underneath the floor mat in the front. And then if you go behind the seats, again, it's got a really good pictogram inside your manual. There is a 2 on each side that you just have to open up some access compartments to make sure that those bolts are absolutely tight. Taking care of your equipment is super important. You've got to refer to your manual. You can use the Equipment Mobile app. You can use Tractor Plus app to make sure you check all of those torque specs. They're gonna be in there. They're gonna have pictograms to show you how to get all these things checked. Maintenance is key. Make sure that you're doing your maintenance. If you've got challenges with that, that's where our service department can help out. just call them. They know the information. They can help you out. If you've got comments, comment down below. Like and subscribe to our channel. We love having you as part of the Papé Toolkit family, and we'll see you again next time on Papé Toolkit. Hi, my name is Jason Hughes. I'm a territory manager out of Eugene, Oregon. I'm also a large property owner and own a lot of the equipment that you see featured in these videos. I hope you find this content helpful. If you have any questions, please comment below.